Good afternoon, classmates. So,
Afternoon, ma'am.
this is PED 102. We are going to start our class. First reporter, please present your reports, please.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Ed. Yes po. Thank you. So, our report is about Thorndike's connectionism. Okay, next slide po tayo, Ma'am Friends. Okay. Edward Thorndike, he was the father of modern educational psychology and the founder of behavioral psychology. He started his research with animals using stimulus response and developed the idea of connectionism. Next slide po, Ma'am Renz. Connectionism is an influential learning theory in the fields of cognitive science and psychology. The foundational premise of connectionism is that creatures can create connections between stimuli and responses, or SR connections through learning. So, ang pagkakaiba ng connectionism sa previous theories na discuss sa meeting is yung connectionism is in-associate ni Thorndike sa yung stimulus at response sa through learning. Okay. A stimulus is something that causes a reaction, while a response is the reaction to a stimulus. Okay, no? So, kung naalala niyo po, no? Yung kung ano ba tong stimulus at response. Okay. May example tayo. Okay. May ano dito, yung trash can at saka yung babae, yung kid. So, yung student is nakaamoy ng mabahong amoy mula sa basurahan. So, yung magiging response ng student is magtatakip siya ng ilong kasi nakaamoy siya ng mabahong basura, which is the stimulus. So, next po, ma'am. In connectionism, learning happens when a connection is made between a stimulus and a rewarding response through trial and error. Connectionism was meant to be a general theory of learning for animals and humans. So, ang connectionism din is a theory for animals and humans. So, next po, ma'am. Next pa po, ma'am. Okay. Primary laws of learning. Law of readiness, law of exercise, law of effect. Secondary laws of learning, law of primacy, law of intensity, and law of recency. Next po, ma'am. Primary laws of learning. Next po, ma'am Renz. Okay. Law of readiness. The degree of preparedness and eagerness to learn. So, kailangan yung student is prepared at eager na matuto. Law of action tendency. Individuals learn best when they are ready to learn. They will not learn much if they see no reason for learning. So, paano ba maging ready yung student, no? So, kailangan, no, maging motivated yung student para may makita siyang rason na para mag-aral. Okay. So, next po, ma'am. Okay, for example, a child forced to read before he is ready may acquire skills, but may not necessarily develop the desire to read. So, yung is, napilitan lang na magbasa. So, he may acquire skills, pero yung desire na magbasa is wala sa kanya kasi napilitan lang siyang magbasa. So, okay, hindi siya ready at hindi siya eager na matuto. Okay, next po, ma'am. Law of exercise. Behavior is more strongly established through frequent connections of stimulus and response. So yung behavior ay mas strong kung madalas ang connection ng stimulus at response. Drill or practice helps in increasing efficiency and durability of learning. So kung may repetition ng skills, may practice, no? So may magiging efficient at durable yung learning. Okay. Two parts of the law of exercise. Law of use, the learning are strengthened with repeated trial or practice. Law of disuse, learning are weakened when trial or practice is discontinued. Okay, next po ma'am. So dito, no? Dito may law of use at law of
Excuse me, ma'am. Pwede
disuse.
daw
So
pa-open
for
mo ng
example, no, a
camera
pianist,
habang naga-report?
yes po ma'am, sorry. A pianist repeatedly practice their pieces performance. By practicing, which is the law of use, they ensure that they will play correctly. If they do not exercise playing their pieces, the law of disuse, they may encounter difficulty in smoothly accomplishing their performance. So, okay, law of exercise. So, no, kung may continued practice, so possible na mapaplay yung yung pieces ng correctly. So kung walang continuous ng practice, no, possible na yung mahirapan yung pianist na mag-perform. Okay. So next po ma'am, law of effect. Learning is strengthened when associated with a pleasant or satisfying feeling. Learning is more likely to happen again in the future. So kung strengthen yung learning, so yung learning is mas mauulit pa siya, no? Okay. Learning is weakened when associated with an unpleasant feeling, becoming less likely for learning to occur again in the future. Learners will try to avoid it. So, no, kung walang practice, no, yung magiging effect is, yung learning is magiging weak. Ah, learning occurs when it results in satisfaction. The learners derive pleasure out of it. So next po. Okay. So dito, no, is, so yung student is, nag-aral siya. Kung yung student ay nag-aral at mataas ang nakuhang grado, so yung teacher is i-compliment niya yung student. So yung satisfying feeling na naramdaman ni student is magiging is maganda para sa kanya, no. So yung learning is magiging strengthened. So kung yung student naman ay kung makukuhang score, no, sa exam is mababa, no. So possible na wait, no? So magiging yung effect noon is mawawalan ng gana yung batang mag-aral kasi mababa yung score na nakuha niya. So yun yung epekto sa kanya. So next po ma'am. Okay. Secondary loss of learning. Ito po ay i-report i-discuss po ni Sir Sarabil. So thank you po.
Hello everyone. Hello po sa inyong lahat.
Pa-open na lang po
Uh,
camera, sir.
yes po sir ma'am. Um, I'm the second reporter of Edward Tornes, which is secondary of learning. next po, light ma'am Lindsay. Uh, they are three of secondary of learning, and the first one is law of pregnancy. Low pregnancy is a learning that takes place in the beginning, is the best and lasting. Learning should be done correctly for the first time since it is difficult to unlearn or change an incorrectly learned material. Uh, sa loob of permanency, which is kung ihahintulad natin sa 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 ating pagtuturo, which is dapat natin may kahandahan ng pagtuturo, which is para di yung mismo yung na estudyante ay hindi sila yung na intention nila is uh, ay tulad uh, excuse me ma forward. Which is yung mismo yung guro, which is hindi siya dapat may kahandaan na pag pagtututo, which is may pagsasanay na paulit-ulit para yung mismo yung learner hindi siya intention yung setting siya umuwi, which is parang gusto pa na matuto ng marami sa law of permanency. And the second one is law of recency. Things most recently learned are best remembered, while the things learned sometimes too are remembered with more difficult. Frequent review and summarization have fixed in the mind the material covered, which is kung sa ating ihahintulad sa ating learner, mostly sa ating mga learner, which is if if uh, bakit yung examination, which is meron pang paghanda yung pag-review, which is within 20 minutes or 5 minutes, doon natin mahintulad sa law of presency. Sa law of intensity, the law of intensity is states that if the stimulus experience is real, the more likely there is to be change in behavior learning. A vivid, dramatic, or exciting learning experience teaches more than routine or boring experience. Kung ihintulad natin sa law of intensity, dapat yung which is yung teacher is kailangan mayroong siyang kaandaan na yung hindi maboring yung klase. If ihintulad sa law of intensity, dapat hindi po siya yung dapat may kaandaan lang. Yun lang po ma'am, and yun lang po yung aking report. Thank you po.
Next reporter, please. Mag-present na yung next reporter.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon po.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
So,
Pa-open na lang ka, Ma'am Tombok.
yes po, ito po siya, ma'am. I will be reporting, I will be reporting about those characters of needs.
Permission to speak po, Ma'am Tombo.
Yes po.
Ma'am, Shopee po yung online po ninyo. Paki-check na lang po. Thank
First, afternoon.
Good afternoon. Anong report ni Ma'am Tumbok? Humanistic Learning Theory. Okay.
Yes po.
Apo, yung Maslow's po, ma'am.
Okay. Start na po, Ma'am.
Okay, sige po. Sige, next tayo, friends. So, humanistic learning theory is created in by three psychologists. So, in the early 1900s, psychologists such as Abraham Maslow, Carl Rogers, and James Bugenthal developed humanistic learning theory. Okay, next one, friends, please. So, this actually started with the observation of this psychologists, yung that the other theories, behaviorism and psychoanalysis, this is the most dominant study at the time of in 1900s. So this is the most dominant theories that explains the development of so they thought that there are negative perceptions about the learners, and that these theories actually diagnose ano ba yung kakulangan ng mga learners, ano yung dapat pang gawin. So parang meron sa standard. And these theories, yung mga nasa behaviorism and psychoanalysis according to the three psychologists, the three humanist psychologists, according to they try to fix the learners. Something is wrong with the learners. However, dito sa humanistic psychology, they want to suggest that they should focus on the person itself, holistic, the whole person. So yun yung gusto nilang i-point out na how this type of learning or this type of theory help the person achieve or fulfill their best potential. So yun yung gustong i-achieve ng humanistic psychologists. They also reject the assumption that some of the psychologists propose na sabi nila dapat yung motivation ng isang tao to learn is based on sinasabi nila na dapat based on rewards. So dapat hindi so humanistic psychology, it is a psychological perspective that emphasizes the study of the person. So humanistic psychologists have an individual's behavior and is connected to his inner feelings and image. So, it has to come from the person. Yung motivation niya has to come from his inner feelings, yung drive niya na sa sarili niya mismo makukuha. So, this type of psychology believes that an individual's primary behavior is primarily determined by his perception of the world around him, and that individuals are not solely the product of their environment. So kung makikita nyo, a little bit contradicting siya, di ba? Kasi sinabi nila na the behavior of a person should be primarily determined by his perception of the world. Pero ang ini-emphasize lang nila dito na hindi lang sila dapat magiging product ng environment nila. Meron ding development within the person na kailangan din nilang pagtuunan ng pansin. So individuals are internally directed and motivated excuse me, to fulfill their human potential. Okay po. Next slide po, Ma'am Renz. So, humanistic theory of teaching and learning. Actually, similar lang ito. So, humanistic learning theory and humanistic theory of teaching and learning. It is an educational theory that believes in teaching the whole child. So, kung kanina we start from identifying kung ano yung humanistic psychology, now we want to apply this to teaching and learning, no? Ito yung gusto nating makita na to be specifically applied to the teaching and learning. Kaya meron tayong humanistic theory of learning and teaching. So, ito yung aim nila is to teach the whole child. The humanist approach has a strong focus on students' emotional well-being and eternally view children as innately good at the core. So next po, Ma'am Renz. So ito yung principles ng humanistic learning theory. That yung self-actualization is the goal of humanistic learning theory. Although, kung ang sinasabi nila Maslow is that only 1% reach this stage. Kung alala natin yung kay Kohlberg before, yung pinakamataas, yung universal principle, yun yung konti lang din na nakaka-achieve. So, katulad din tayo, perceive that only 1% reach self-actualization. And even so, we still pursue to become fulfilled in our lives, to fulfill our passion, fulfill our potential kung anong gusto natin nangyari sa buhay natin. So, humanistic learning principles focus on the choice of the student. It fosters engagement to inspire other students, and become self-motivated. And then, they give importance to evaluation, that feelings and knowledge are both important to the learning process. So we do not just focus on the learning, we do not just focus on academics, but also we have to look at the affected domains ng mga bata. Then, safe learning environment is promoted in humanistic learning theory. Next po, Ma'am Renz. So what are our role as teachers and what is students' role in this in humanistic learning? So teachers and students have very important role to play in this type of learning theory. So the overall role of teachers is to become a role model and a facilitator. So yung conduct natin of being teacher and how we deal with our students in the future. Ito yung magiging basis for other students to learn. And then that we have to teach learning skills. We have to teach the students how to learn and how to become self-motivated. And then provide motivation for classroom tasks. If we see other students falling behind, we would have to assist our students and at the same time help them integrate into the system, into the whole learning process. Provide choices for students. Say for example, yung students nagkaroon ng difficulty sa pag-execute ng isang task, we have to provide them with so that she will still be able to what is the competence requires. So create opportunities for group work and peers. So important sa kanila sa humanistic learning theory yung interpersonal relationship na mga sa classroom. So example of humanistic approach specific teachers and utilize self-evaluation. So, kung makikita natin sa activities ni Sir Arcon, we have a lot of journaling, we have a lot of assessments, self-assessment na ginawa para sa sarili natin and evaluate how we grow, what are our experience growing up, from childhood to adolescence. So this is actually um, a humanistic approach. And then another is that the teacher can create the teacher can create exciting and engaging learning activities. Example, you do the government, so dito sa example, then kung pwede natin gawin yung organization natin sa classroom, sino yung president, vice president, and ask them what are their task, and then yun they will process them na kapag merong leader, and then merong ano yung ginagawang leader, ano yung effect nun sa society, ano yung effect nun sa classroom. And yan yung society. So, from there, nagkaroon sila ng parang mas tangible na knowledge about what government is. So, another examples are being specified. At yung ginagawa ng teachers, all of the teachers in have to collaborate with each other in order for them to find out. Say, for example, may a teacher and a science teacher, for example, grade 3 math teacher and grade 3 business teacher. So, they're teaching a particular certain class. So, silang, say, for example, mag-join, pwede silang mag-usap. They, for example, making systems sa science, and some they are also doing that. So, pwede nilang pag-usapan kung paano nila i-deliver yung subject, yung topic nila in such a way na magiging related, in a way, magiging related yung topic nila na kapag mag-discuss si math teacher, maintindihan nila dahil they already discussed it in science class. So, something like that. So, cooperation and evaluation, these are very important in humanistic learning theory. Next slide po, Ma'am Renz. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's will be reporting about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and will be giving specific examples of how is being applied in the classroom. Thank you, ma'am.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rantil Mitanabe. I am the second reporter. So, I will talk about the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, before going on with the hierarchy of needs, let's know first Abraham Maslow. So, he is a famous psychologist who contributed significantly to the growth and development of human psychology. He is also the founding fathers of human psychology and motivation in human environment. He propounded the theory of human needs, which is popularly known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs in human environment in the society. So, this is the original hierarchy of needs. Maslow's 1943 and 1954, he stated that people are motivated to achieve certain needs and that some needs take precedence over others. So, the first two basic needs will be the first thing that motivates our behavior. Once that level is fulfilled, the next level up is what motivates. So let's go on. So the first, as you can see, yung pinaka-bottom is yung physiological needs and safety needs. So ito yung mga basic needs. Next level is yung belongingness and love needs and love needs and esteem needs. Ito yung psychological needs. and self-actualization. At yun yung self-fulfillment needs. So what is physiological needs? These are yung mga basic needs. So what are the basic needs? So um, ito yun yung mga food, water, clothing, shelter, accommodation or housing, sleep, as well as procreation. So human basic needs are very important for survival and sustainability of human race in the society. So no need naman siya i-elaborate, parang understandable naman siya. No? So next is safety needs or security needs. So under pa rin siya sa basic needs. So emotional security, financial security, example, employment, social welfare, law and order, freedom from fear, social stability, property, health, and well-being. So, kanina sa physiological needs, more on yung mga basic talaga. So, ang next needs is yung safety needs or security. Okay lang? Do you follow po?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, next, yung love and the belongingness need. So, it is refers to a human emotional need for interpersonal relationship, affiliating, connectedness, and being part of a group. So, friendship, intimacy, trust, and acceptance, receiving and giving affection and love. So, from food na tayo to security, then to love and belongingness. So, next is esteem needs. So, this includes self-worth, accomplishment, and respect. Um, there are two types kasi. So, yung isa is esteem for oneself, and the other one is desire for reputation or respect from others. So, under sa esteem for oneself is yung dignity, achievement, mastery, independence. On the other hand, yung desire for reputation or respect from others, status or yung prestige. So, then next level, ito na yung pinaka-top na level. So, self-actualization needs. So, it refers to the realization of a person's potential, self-fulfillment, seeking personal growth and peak experiences. It is a desire to accomplish everything that one can to become the most that one can be. So example nito is an individual may have a strong desire to become an ideal parent. Next example is a desire may be expressed economically, academically, or athletically. So ito na yung yung parang hindi pa kontento sa anong meron sila. Gusto pa nila yung parang nasa taas talaga sila. So, for others, can be expressed creatively in painting, pictures, or inventions. Mga scientists, siguro sila yung mga self-actualized na mga tao. So, next, so to understand more, these are the examples of physiological needs. So, one na lang each level isang example na lang. So, and physiological needs. So, under sa physiological needs yung food. So, if a child comes to class hungry, so what is the effect to the child? So, syempre, hindi siya makaka-study na maayos, walang energy, walang ganang mag-participate. So, as a solution, with future teachers, we can give short breaks, start siguro yung mga feeding program, mga ganyan, and coordinate with the barangay. So next is yung sa safety needs. So, safe from guns. So, in the US, schools have been attacked by men carrying guns. So, ito na yung meron din yung recent yung so parang ang effect nun sa child is trauma. So, Ang solution for us future teachers, so we can talk to the school personnel about policies, yung mga safety and security policies. Dapat siya um, full talaga yung security, mga ganyan. So, I'll give na lang ako isang example under safety needs. Ito yung kanina yung sa GAN. So, etong next is safe from bullying. So, ang effect din sa child is trauma, etc. So, ang solution, watch out for signs of depression, aggressive behavior, foster a welcoming and cooperative learning environment. Next is examples of Maslow's belongingness and love needs in the classroom. So, underneath is membership. So, if yung bata sa bahay hindi siya nakaka-feel ng hindi siya in sa pamilya, parang behind siya. So, ang hindi na papapil sa kanya na welcome siya or part siya ng family. So, parang ang effect nito sa child is isolation or loner siya. So, solution, inclusion of students in class activities, group assignments, after school clubs, and so on. So, next is examples of Maslow's esteem needs in the classroom. So, esteem needs such as celebration of success. Uh, kung pag kunwari yung child no yung parang top 1 siya sa class, tapos parang dead ma lang sa kanya. So, ang effect nun sa child is discourage siya to excel. So, ang solution or the role of the teachers are to appreciate student success, even yung mga little ones. Next is later, i-discuss ni Ma'am Tombok kung ano yung importance nitong hierarchy of needs sa mga sa pagtuturo. So, Maslow continued to refine his theory. He noted that the order of needs might be flexible based on external circumstances or individual difference. So, dati kasi, ito lang, si physiological needs, safety needs, belongingness, and love needs, esteem needs, tapos si self-actualization na. Yung iba kasi, according to Maslow, flexible kasi daw yung flexible yung needs ng mga tao. So, iba-iba kada tao. So, some people may gusto nila yung love and belongingness. Other, mas gusto nila yung mga other needs like yung aesthetic needs, ibang needs. So, some individuals, the need for self-esteem is more important than the need of love. So, yung kunwari may physiological needs na sila, safety needs na sila sa kanila. Pero may mga taong hindi hindi masyadong importante sa kanila yung belongingness or yung love needs. So, mas gusto nila yung esteem needs. So, yun ang sinasabi ni Maslow na flexible based kasi iba-iba din yung perception ng mga tao. So, next. So, expanded hierarchy of needs. So, it includes cognitive and aesthetic needs. At in 1970A, and later, nagdagdagan siya nung transcendence needs. And then, naging Maslow, 1970P na siya. Or the Maslow's motivational model. So, hindi ko siya i-discuss yung from 1 to 4, yung biological and physiological needs, safety needs, love and belongingness, esteem needs. So, go on na lang tayo sa yung additional na tatlo. So, ito na yung after the esteem needs, ito na yung cognitive needs. So, cognitive needs, It is a knowledge and understanding, curiosity, exploration, need for meaning, and predictability. Aesthetic needs naman, appreciation and search for beauty, balance, form, etc. Yung mga um, gustong glow up, ganyan, for mga beauty, ganyan. So, and after nun, papasok na naman si self-actualization needs. Then after, si transcendence needs. So, it is a person is motivated by values which transcend beyond the personal self. Example, yung mystical experiences and certain experiences with nature, aesthetic experiences, sexual experiences, service to others, the pursuit of science, religious faith, etc. So, Ma'am Tombok will take place na din for additional. Baka may nakalimutan. Ma'am Tombok.
Hello, good evening. Okay. So, ang respect tayo bumalik sa expanded. Konti lang. Expanded. Okay. So, Maslow's motivational model. Tama yung sinasabi ni Ma'am Reds dito. However, if you can this day kung sorry po. Kung mapapansin niyo po, meron tayo ditong sinasabing deficiency needs and growth needs. So, if you will notice, yung psychological needs, safety needs, belonging needs, and esteem needs, ito na yung originally kasama na sa Maslow's hierarchy of needs. However, dito sa Maslow's motivational model, they are also, aside from they are classified per needs, meron na tinatawag din silang deficiency needs. So ano bang ibig sabihin kapag sinasabing deficiency needs? Kapag sinasabing deficiency needs or growth needs, kapag sinasabing deficiency needs, ang ibig sabihin dito, if you fail to meet your deficiency needs, you will be able to experience harmful or unpleasant results. Say for example, sa physiological needs, kung hindi mo ma-attain yung kulang sa food, so ibig sabihin magugutom ka. So sa safety needs, if you will not secure your household, for sure mananakawan kayo. So merong negative effect kapag hindi na fulfill yung mga basic needs natin that belongs in the deficiency needs. However, yung growth needs naman, ang ibig sabihin niya is that it doesn't matter kung mapufulfill mo siya, may sense of fulfillment ka dito o wala. It does not affect you. However, this is your personal choice kung gusto mo siyang i-pursue. Kung gusto mong i-pursue yung needs na ito for your personal development and for pride, ganun, for rewards, or something like that. Walang mawawala sa'yo kung hindi mo ma-pursue yung mga dreams mo. Pwede ka namang bago ng choices, ganun. So, ito yung ibig sabihin ng growth needs. Okay. So, punta naman po tayo dun. I-continue natin yung report. So, dito tayo sa educational applications. Yan. Applications of Maslow's hierarchy theory to work in the classroom, it is actually applied everywhere. So kahit saan tayo magpunta sa amin sa economics, sa marketing, ito yung mga tinitingnan namin kung paano, ano yung mga needs ng mga tao para doon kami papasok talaga para mag-promote ng mga products. pwede din siyang gamitin sa ginagawa natin sa education. This is actually broadly applied itong Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So hindi na kailangan siyang i-specific kasi lahat tayo, kahit sa nursing, lahat ng subjects, napag-usapan talaga si Maslow. So next po, Ma'am Renz. So these are the strengths and limitations of Maslow's motivational theory. First is that it's simple to understand kasi nga meron tayong previous concept of yung basic, yung pinaka-original niya na na hierarchy. And then ngayon even so, maano pa rin siya, madali pa rin siyang intindihin. Tapos, it focuses on human nature based on ano yung mga pangangailangan ng tao, basically. And it is, yun ang sinabi ko kanina, it's relevant in all fields of studies. Excuse me. The limitation of this theory, however, is that it ignores humans' different cultural and societal backgrounds. So wala siyang pakialam din, wala siyang take, wala siyang effect kung ano yung background mo. Ang tinitingnan ni Maslow is that ano yung motivation mo to achieve these things, to achieve the needs. Then it fails to take into account the individuals and may be motivated by intrinsic rewards. Yes. Ito yung may isang psychologist din na katulad din kay Maslow, we are talking about motivation. And kaso lang sa kanya, it's more on rewards. Okay? Pero si Maslow, he does not focus on rewards, kundi motivation nyo. Pale, yung motivation nyo must come from within. So, it cannot be measured. Yung walang quantifiable measurement, kundi observable measurement lang meron. So, next po, Ma'am Renz. So, ito, si Herzberg, yung sinasabi ko, na contradicts Maslow's theory one way or the other, no? But pareho sila ng sinasabi, the differences of their theories is that pareho sila ng sinasabi na each person is motivated to achieve something. Kay Maslow, basic needs sa kanya. However, sa kay Herzberg is on hygiene and employment. Yun yung sa kanya. Yan. On the other hand, so yung kay Maslow naman, meron siyang structure. So meron siyang from physiological needs hanggang pataas papuntang self-realization. However, kay Herzberg, wala siyang nag-specify kung ano yung level ng motivation na isang tao. And then, yung katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, the other difference is that the motivation is human factors, human motivation yung kay Maslow. Samantalang kay Herzberg, it is more on rewards and hindi siya nag-focus dun sa mga physiological needs, dun siya sa mga cognitive needs, dun siya sa mga aesthetic needs, dun yung mga pinofocus niya, yung mga higher na motivations, higher na level. And then, yan, same lang yan sila. Sa last, they pursue human satisfaction. Okay, so next slide po, Ma'am Renz. So, actually, that's the end of our report. Pasensya na. That's the end of our report, and I hope you guys will be able to add something from your old perception or old knowledge about Maslow and the humanistic learning theory. Thank you po. Good evening.
Next reporter na to. Classmate. Next, next reporter na to. Pangatlong report ngayon.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Next
Ah,
reporter.
G's talk inside theory. Okay. Okay na, start na. Open your cam po. Ay, anyway, mag-end na pala to for 2 minutes na lang, oh. So, ganito na lang, sa next, Google Meet na lang. Hello?
Okay, ma'am,
Yes po.
please. Thank you.
Okay. I-left na lang dito, pas enter agad sa next link.
Okay, ma'am.
Sige na, start na yung reporting. Continue na po.
So, yes. Good evening. So we're going to discuss about the Gestalt insight theory. So here's the three Gestalt psychologists who founded the Gestalt theory in early 20th century. So first is Max Wertheimer, who founded the Gestalt movement and became the first Gestalt psychology. He was also one of the famous and one of the principal proponents of Gestalt theory who found figures of the school thought known as the Gestalt psychology. He also emphasized higher other cognitive processes in the midst of behaviorism. And along with Max Breithomer, we have Wolfgang Kohler, who was a psychologist and one of the founder of Gestalt theory, who conducted experiment in which insight learning was observed in an animal behavior. And last, it's Kurt Koppka, the founder of the field, who applied the concept of Gestalt to child psychology.
Open na lang yung cam,
So,
ma'am.
Gestalt insight theory. The German word Gestalt can be translated to means form, pattern, configuration. This configuration or pattern offers an organization to perception which the individual experience. So from the word form, it means buo or bumuo. So mostly on our activity, the teacher will say, okay class, form a group. So it means that bumuo, while the configuration means arrangement of elements or combination. Second, the theory focus on the idea of groupings. So groupings means it is a set of people acting together with a common interest or purpose. So meaning ng grouping ay pagsama-sama, pagbuo o kaya maraming tao na magkakasama. So in Gestalt theory, it is a human nature to group things together so they are visually grouped regardless their proximity and grouped by colors, shape, or size. Third, the theory emphasized that the whole is greater than the sum of its part. So sabi nga, or naniniwala rather yung three psychologists that the whole is greater than the sum of its part. So I mentioned earlier that this theory focus on the idea of grouping. So example, magagaling tayong lahat or magagaling lahat ng tao. So all of has a different ability and skill, pero mas magiging maganda yung result kung pagsama-samahin ang lahat ng skill natin and ability. So, all of us were combined and create a group. That means na ang kabuuan ay greater than the individual. And the fourth, the theory focused on the perception and how people assign meanings to visual stimuli. So from the word perception, it is our sensory experience of the word, like from the word sensory, sense of taste, sense of hear, sense of sight. So it is through the experience we can gain information about what it is happening to the environment around us. And through the light that enters our eyes, it is our ability to perceive our surrounding through the visual perception of colors, patterns, and outcome. And fifth, the theory was the initial cognitive response to behaviorism. So what I have mentioned earlier, that Gestalt theory also emphasized higher order cognitive processes in the midst of behaviorism. So the Gestalt psychologist has influenced how we study perception and sensation. So not only that, but somehow it also increased our understanding of how a person cognitive processes influence the way it behaves socially. So that is why the Gestalt theory was the initial response to behaviorism. And six, the theory is a theory of learning that focuses on the mind's perspective. So the main objective of this theory is all about the person's awareness, freedom, mind, like the way a person use their senses and they gain information about the world, like self-direction and focus on the present moment rather than the past experience. So in short, the Gestalt theory is more on the ability of a person to help individual understand concept better, or we can gain insight on our surrounding, and that you will become aware of the things that is around you. And law of organization, according to Gestalt psychologists, the way we form our perceptions are guided by the certain principles of law. So ibig sabihin, hindi tayo basta-basta nakakagawa ng mga pananaw or opinion. Lahat ng yon ay may pinagugutan at lahat ng yon ay may mga reasons. And the principles of law determine what we see or meet things or situation. So unconsciously, itong mga laws na to ay nagiging guide natin sa pagbuo ng pananaw or opinion towards sa isang bagay. And here's the Gestalt principle. So we have 7 primary factor that associated with Gestalt theory. So the Gestalt principle basically it seeks rather to explain how we perceive and view things the way we do. So first is the law of proximity. It is the elements tends to be grouped together according to their nearness. So in proximity,
Ma'am,
if the
Ma'am
things are
Chloe,
closer, they are more relevant
Ma'am
than the things
Chloe,
that are far away. In a simple words, it is the
excuse me ma'am. Ma'am, nag-next slide na kayo ma'am?
yes pa.
Nag-next slide ka na?
Yes pa.
Or nasa picture ka pa rin?
Yes po. Nasa Gestalt. Yes po.
Hindi ka pa nag-next slide ma'am?
Nasa law of proximity na po ako.
Anong slide yun ma'am?
Ano po?
Anong number
Nasa
ng
law of
slide?
proximity na po ako. Sa Gestalt principle.
I mean, anong
Slide
slide na?
5.
Nasa number 2 ka pa rin ma'am sa screen.
5 po.
Nasa slide number 2 ka pa ma'am
Ayun
dito
no?
sa
Wait.
slide. Yung nasa present mo ma'am. Okay, okay. Sige, continue ma'am.
Wait man. Wait. Okay na po ba?
Yes po ma'am.
Okay na po ba?
Continue
Okay,
pa.
so the first law of proximity are the first principle. Yes, thank you for the confirmation. Yes. So the first principle under the Gestalt theory is the law of proximity. So it is the elements tends to be grouped together according to their nearness. So in proximity, if the things are closer, they are more relevant than the things that are far away. In a simple words, it is the closeness or nearness of a thing. So if you're going to Google what is the meaning of proximity, it is the nearness or lapit. So sabi dito sa law of proximity, kapag nakikita natin magkakadikit ang isang bagay, naiisip natin na isa silang group. So one of the example is the image on the slide on the right side under the law of proximity, this one. So personally, yung nakikita ko is picture na may dalawang group. Isang group ay may 3 columns and the other is may dalawang columns. Pero kung titignan mo sila, same size, shape, and color lang naman sila. Pero dahil sa space between the two, nako-conclude ko na two groups sila. So, pinoprove niya lang na ang idea kapag magkakalapit yung object, nakikita natin rather sila ay isang group. And another example is the Unilever logo. So may 25 distinct icons siya pero dahil nga they are close proximity which is magkakalapit, nare-recognize natin yung whole as a U figure. And the second law will be the law of similarity. It is the items similar in some aspect tend to be grouped together. So from the word similarity means magkamukha or magkakamuka. So sa law of similarity, tinitignan yung mga bagay na kapag daw nakita natin sila na magkakamukha, nako-conclude natin sa sarili natin na sila ay magkakasama sa isang group or isa silang group. So one of the example, the image on the slide. So dito ma-observe natin na may dalawang shape, merong triangle at circle. Although magkakalapit yung mga shape, nakikita ko pa rin na may dalawang grupo, which is the group triangle and the group circle. And another example will be the Sun Microsystem logo. So rather than see the 8 distinct U-shaped figure, we
Next slide,
perceive the
ma'am.
word sun 4 times with the letter S broken into 2 parts.
Ma'am, next slide.
And the third principle will be the law of closure. Yes po. Okay na po?
Okay, ma'am.
Wait lang. Okay, right. Okay na po.
Continue,
Okay,
ma'am.
ganyan na lang siya. So the third will be the law of closure. It is the items that are grouped together if they tend to complete some entity. Yes. Okay, so according to this law, people feel missing information or gaps to see an object as a whole. So sa law na ito ay nilalagyan natin ng shape or forma ang isang bagay na may mga gaps. So best example will be this one, the WWF logo. So when looking at it, your brain will naturally perceive the cluster of the black shape that is set against the white background as a panda. And the fourth law will be the law of similarity or rather simplicity. It is the items will be organized into simple figures according to symmetry, regularity, and smoothness. So it states that the eye will instinctively choose to interpret the simplest possible form. So the example of this one, the LMAID logo, it is more easily understood as the three overlapping triangle because the combined form does not create a simplified or recognizable shape. And the fifth law will be the law of continuity. It describes how the objects that looks different but are similarly aligned will be seen as a whole. So example of this one, the MasterCard's logo. So since the eye easily moves from the one interclocking circle to the other, that is because of the overlapping orange region. And the sixth law will be the law of figure ground. It describes how the human eye can separate an object from the surrounding area. So example is the FedEx logo. It emphasizes both its brand and what it does. So in this logo, we can see words FedEx as the figure and the forward arrow, this one, the forward arrow. Between the E and the X, this use of a figure ground that emphasize both FedEx brand and the preference to their ship delivery services. And the last principle will be the law, symmetry, and order. It is also known as pragnance, the German word for a good figure. So we prefer things that are simple, clear, and order. So they take less time for us to process and present less dangerous surprises. So the two image on the slide, we are more likely to see the left image composed of the simple circle, square, and triangle. Like you see on the right side, it is a complex and ambiguous shape than the whole form. So in this case, seeing that three distinct object is a simple than seeing one that is a complex object. In other case, it is a simple to see a single object which bring us to. So that will be the seven primary.
Okay. Good evening. Audible po ba?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ah, Thank you po. So, okay. Wait lang po, ma'am. So, next po, learning by insight means, I'm gonna tackle about insight theory po. Under din po to siya sa Gestalt theory po. And then, learning by insight means sudden grasping of the solution, a flash of understanding without any process of trial and error. All discoveries and inventions have taken place through insight. Of course, the discoverer possesses a complete known of the whole situation in piece of meal, or it is also the highest types of learning is through insight. So, the educational implication learning insight or the role of the teacher in insight learning. So, first, child as a whole. Parents and teachers should see the child as a whole and in total setting. It is not wise to conclude on the basis of single act about the child's behavior. So dito po, for example, may nagawa yung bata na konting pagkakamali or simpleng pagkakamali lamang. Bigla mo na lang siyang sasabihin, ay hindi ka marunong, ay hindi mo magagawa yan, ay tanga ka, bobo ka, parang ganun po. So parang inuhusgahan mo kaagad yung bata. So parang maapektuhan yung journey niya sa pagkatuto. Next po is importance of motivation. The theory stresses the importance of motivation in learning. Therefore, the teacher should motivate the students properly for insightful learning. So dito importante po talaga yung yung pagmo-motivate or yung support ng teacher sa student niya. Malaking impact po yung motivation ng teacher sa student. Kasi with the guidance of the teacher, madaling matututo or parang ang tawag dito, mas na i-encourage mo yung student mo na mas na-encourage mo yung student mo na mag-learn pa siya. And next, emphasis on intelligent learning. The theory is economical in terms of human energy. It puts emphasis on insight and understanding rather than the rote learning. So spoon feeding and cramming should be discouraged. So dito, example, may binigay ka, so example, yung teacher may binigay na task sa student. So, hindi po pwedeng, kung nakikita mo yung student na nahihirapan, normal na yun. Pero kung parang dahil gusto mo nang matapos yung klase or gusto mo nang matapos yung activity na yun, parang magbibigay ka na ng mga hint or parang ibibigay mo na yung answer. So parang hindi yun maganda sa student kasi paano siya magle-learn kung parang kung ikaw na mismo yung nagbibigay ng answer. So parang ikaw lang din yung nag-answer ng question mo, ganun po. And then, development of higher mental faculties. Insight involves the maximum of use of intelligence. Therefore, learning by insight is helpful in developing and improving her mental processes like thinking, imagination, reasoning, analytical ability, problem solving, and creativity. The theory specifically encourages creative activity of the child. The teacher has to view the situation as a whole and then decide the line of action. Next, problem solving approach. Insight, insight helps in solving problems through one's own effort. This approach trains the child to solve his own problems in life. Therefore, the teacher should make use of problems solving approach for better learning. He should prepare children emotionally and intellectually to solve the problem. So sa number 4 and 5, may connection siya. So the more na the more bibigyan ng teacher yung student niya ng mahirap na task or mahirap na exam, the more na mag-struggle yung student, of course. Pero with this, mas na-explore ng student or mas na-develop niya yung thinking skill niya or yung parang mas lumalawak yung imahinasyon ng student kung the more nag-struggle yung bata. Kasi nga, mas marami siyang matututuhan ba, parang ganun po. So, kumbaga based sa struggle niya, mas mag-strive pa siya ng mas maayos na ganun po. Logical presentation. The teacher should present his lesson logically. He should proceed from simple to complex, concrete to abstract, empirical to rational, and psychological to logical. The problems presented in the class should be linked with life so that the learners have the greatest benefit out of them. So dito, may example ako based on the real life situation. From the logical presentation, may kilala po kasi akong nag-exam po siya sa neuro exam sa PNP. So, may instruction na po talaga sa kanila una pa lang na dapat maging positive ka sa mga answers mo, dapat maging ganun, positive ka lang, bawal yung mga negative. So may written exam na sila and then may question doon na have you ever lied when you was a kid? So ang answer niya doon is no. So sa pagiging persistent niya na parang dapat positive lang, dapat wala akong nagawang mali, dapat okay lang lahat. Ang in-answer niya no, which is ang logic doon, totoo ba na hindi ka talaga nag-lie nung bata ka pa? Imposible naman yun na hindi ka nag-lie. So parang ganun, logic yun. So test yun or parang mas maganda yun na test sa mga student. Parang mas nahasa pa yung nila, yung isip nila. Next, persistent effort. It needs a lot of patience on the part of the teacher. Insight does not develop in the learner immediately. It needs persistent effort. So dito, dapat matyaga talaga yung teacher. Hindi porket gusto mo na may binigay kang topic or may binigay kang task, gusto mo yung student agad niyang maka-catch up ito, agad niyang maintindihan ito. No. Kumbaga, dapat nanggagaling yun sa teacher. Dapat mapasensya kang mag-explain, mag-explain ng lesson mo para may matutuhan yung student. Goal-oriented approach. The teacher should develop in the learner the purpose of striving towards on a goal on the basis of child's experience. He should relate the topic taught to the experiences of the child and then lead him towards the goal. So dito, hindi porket mataas ka na sa student mo, kinakailangan parang akma yung ibibigay mong task sa student mo. Example, yung student mo is elementary lang, pero yung ibibigay mong exam pang college na, pang high school na. So parang ganun po, parang hindi siya akma. So next slides po is laws of insight formation. Number one is the capacities. Insight depends upon the capacity of the organism individuals offer in their capacities. The more developed is the individual, the more will be capacity to the developed insight. Previous experience. Insight depends upon relevant previous experience and maturation. Some practice, trial and error, and maturation up to the level is essential before insight develops. A child of, yun po. So, sa number 1 and sa number 2 po, may connection po sila. So, dito, parang may pasok dito yung learn from your experience. Parang ganun po. Based sa experience ko po before as a caregiver, may lesson po kami na magpaligo ng bata sa or sa infant. So, lamang po ako kasi mother na po ako at that time. So, yung mga classmate ko, syempre yung iba dalaga pa. So, hindi pa nila alam kung ano yung dapat gawin or hindi dapat gawin. So, yung kami, yung mga mothers na ganyan na, alam na namin yung dapat basain, yung hindi dapat basain, yung unang dapat gawin or yung last na gagawin. So, yun po. So, dito, maipapasok natin kung ano yung experience mo na magagamit at magagamit mo pa rin at the present po. So, yun. Fumbling and search. Insight follows a period of fumbling and search. And number 4, use in new situation. Insight once achieved can be used in a new situation. So, dito po, kung may karanasan ka na, tapos may bagong situation naman po, parang magagamit mo rin po yung dating karanasan mo, mas magiging better pa at mas may example po sa groupings, parang mas may maibibigay ka, mas may maambag kang marami kung may past experience ka na. Next po, essentials of learning. Number 1 is having a clear goal. The goal must be quite clear to begin with. Dito, dapat una pa lang, alam mo na kung ano ba yung goal mo. Kung example, gusto kong maging teacher. Gusto ko talagang maging teacher. Dapat, una pa lang, clear na yung goal mo. Gusto mo maging teacher pero hindi ka naman nag-aaral ng mabuti, ng maayos. So, paano mo ma-reach yung goal na yun? So, dapat intact na yung mind mo. Next, new forms of object. As a result of insight into the problem or situation, object appears in a new forms and patterns. Next, transfer. Transfer of learning occurs as a result of insight. The principles learned in one situation are applied to the other situation. Next, change in behavior. Insight changes our behavior to the extent which we have learned through insight. So dito, pag may ginagawa tayo or parang gusto natin yung ginagawa natin, naiiba yung behavior ng tao. Mas focus talaga tayo. Ayaw natin may disturbo. Or ganun po, parang gusto natin at peace tayo para mabilis natin matapos or makuha yung task na yun. So, yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next reporter, please. Sino po yung next? May last reporter pa ba tayo? Hello? Hello, classmate. Ilan ang magre-report?
Kami po, ma'am, yung next reporter po.
Ilan po yung magre-report ngayon araw?
Dalawang group pa po.
Dalawang group pa. So, pang fourth group to. 5, 6. Sige. Sige, ma'am. Continue, ma'am.
Second to the last.
Second to
Okay
the
po,
last?
ma'am.
Okay po. Sige po. Tolman's purpose.
Yes po. So, good evening, everyone. So, our report is all about 12 months for positive behaviorism. Um, the reporter, Miss Mary Christine Villanueva, and I'm Shane J. Villalobos. So, next slide po, ma'am. Ma'am Christine, next slide po. Okay. Edward Chase Tolman was an American psychologist. Our topic is all about Tolman's purposive behaviorism. The founder or the one that discovered the Tolman purposive behaviorism was Edward Chase Tolman, was an American psychologist. He born in Newton on November 19, 1959. Slide. So, Tolman's purposive behaviorism has also been referred to assign learning theory and is often associated in behaviorism and cognitive theory. So, ano nga ang purposive behaviorism that science yung na kung saan yung mas ginagawa natin or na kung saan nalilingism at cognitive theory. And also, Thomas Theory was founded of psychological theory and of sa kanilang theory. Thomas believed that animals were acquiring knowledge about their surroundings we called cognition. Parang dito sa Tolman's purposive, parang ginamit niyang subject sa kanyang theory is the animal. Na ang animal ay cognite pa rin or animal na cognition. So, next, Tolman's theory of learning is known by several names such as sign significant theory, expectancy theory, purposive behaviorism, or simple sign theory. Parang yung sa kanyang theory ay marami siyang tinatawag na yung bang bantag na pangalan or yung mga other tinatawag sa kanyang theory. Parang yun yung ang ibig sabihin. Next po, ma'am. So the key themes of Tolman's theory was learning is purposive and goal directed. So yun na nga daw, yung learning ay may purpose. Ibig sabihin ay yung bawat learning na nalalearn natin ay purposive or may ibig talagang sabihin or may dahilan kung bakit nalalearn natin ito. And also goal directed. Parang nasa isang may direction talaga, may focus talaga yung learning sa kay Tolman's. Organism will select the shortest or easiest path to achieve a goal. Yun na nga. Kasi dito sa yung parang ginamit, di ba nga ginamit niyang check sa kanyang theory which is the animal. So parang sinasabi na yung halimbawa pag inilagay mo daw yung isang animal sa isang maze ay tapos may parang hahanap yun ng pinaka-easiest way na para marating mo yung kung ano yung dulo ng maze. Tulad din lang sa learning natin ay maghahanap tayo or isipin mo kung ano yung pinaka mas madali na kung saan malalaman o malalearn mo ang isang bagay. Tulad din lang yan sa learning purpose behavior is mechanical, behavior as a complete purposeful exercise. 'Di ba? Yung behavior daw, hindi daw to mechanical, parang hindi yung mechanical, parang bang hindi tayo na parang
Robot.
parang yung bang mga yung mga
Robot?
yung tulad sa ref or mga mekaniko. Opo, parang hindi yung behavior natin hindi robot, hindi robot, kundi yung behavior natin ay parang purposeful exercise, ginagawa talaga, gumagalaw talaga, nagsasalita ganon. Behavior can be modified by experience and training. Yun na nga. Parang ginagawa mo talaga, nangyayari talaga. Reinforcement is not sensitive. No. Ma'am, patanggal po yung blue. I-hide mo po, ma'am. Sa screen. Ayun. Cognitive interpretation by the individual. Yun na nga, di ba nga, lahat naman ng individual ay may cognitive. So, yun. Next po, ma'am. So, the Tolman key concepts is first, goal directness. Second, cognitive maps. Third, latent learning. Fourth, intervening variables. Fifth is reward expectancy. Parang later on, ma-discuss ng sunod reporter kung ano nga ba, o namin, na kung ano nga ba ang goal directives. Yung, ngayon na nga, yung key concept. Kung ano nga ba yung 5 key concept. Next slide po, ma'am. So first, the goal directness. Asserted that learning is always purposive and goal directed. Yun na nga, lahat ng learning natin ay may purpose at may direction. Direction kung bakit nga ba natin ginagawa yon. And also, he held that notion that an organism acted or responded for some adaptive purpose. Yun na, halimbawa, di ba? Kung ano yung, tulad lang din sa learning natin ngayon, para makapag-continue pa rin yung learning natin, inadapt natin yung online, yung technology, para makapag-continue pa rin tayo sa learning or sa pag-deliver ng education, ay inadapt natin yung online or yung technology. And also, he believes that individuals do more than merely respond to a stimuli. They act on beliefs, attitude, changing condition, and they strive toward goals. Yun na, kahit yun na, yung individual daw, parang yung, parang self-awareness lang din. Kung halimbawa, kung iniisip mo, ay, may exam kami. So, parang magre-react na agad yung, mag-aaral ako. Parang ganun lang. So, example of goal-directness behavior is deciding where to take your halimbawa lang to, choosing to come to his lecture, choosing what to have to your lunch or at the canteen, gear the shift together with pedal control or learning to drive. So yun lang yung ibig sabihin sa goal directness. The next reporter, Ma'am Christine, will continue the reporting. Ma'am, close po yung mic.
Sino si Ma'am Christine? Hello?
Ma'am Christine.
Maria
Ma'am?
Christine Villanueva.
Yes po.
Okay. Pa-open na lang din ng cam, ma'am.
Hello.
Pa-open na rin po ng cam.
Okay na po, ma'am. Audible na po.
Okay, thank you. So another key concept of Tolman is the cognitive maps. So cognitive maps is this is tendency to learn location. So in this famous experiment, rat mazes.
So this signified that somehow rats form cognitive maps that help them perform well on the maze. So yung cognitive maps ay, wait lang, parang nag-feedback. So yung cognitive maps ay yung mental representation ng environment, yung paano mo na pa-familiarize yung lugar. So for example dito sa rat maze, no, sa mazes nila, so nagpo-form ng cognitive maps kasi napafamiliarize sila sa ano, sa lugar. Na-memorize na nila yung signals, yung cues, yung parang mga landmarks kung saan sila dadaan papunta sa goal box. So, yan yung cognitive maps. So, another example naman sa atin, human, no? Yung papunta tayo sa school. So, yun na-memorize na natin yung lugar, yung landmarks, yung mga signals, yung mga buildings, kung ilang buildings yung dadaanan natin before makapunta sa school. So, yan yung cognitive maps. Next is the latent learning. So, latent literally means hidden. And latent learning is learning that provides okay, so latent literally means hidden, and latent learning is learning that becomes obvious only once a reinforcement is given for demonstrating it. So yung latent learning ay mananatili siyang hidden. So latent learning is a kind of learning that remains or stays with individual until needed. So it is learning that is not outwardly manifested at once. So according to Tolmans, it can exist without even without reinforcement. So he demonstrated this in his rat experiment, wherein rats apparently learned the maze by forming cognitive maps of the maze, so, but manifested this knowledge of the maze when they needed to. So yung latent learning ay mananatili siyang hidden until hindi siya needed or walang reinforcement. So for example, is yung bata, no, ino-observe niya yung parents niya na kinakalikot yung remote control. So alam niya, so by observing, nakikita niya saan yung mag-off, saan yung mag-on. So yung bata, ino-observe niya yun. So nung siya na yung gumamit, first time niya ginamit yun, nagulat yung mga parents kasi alam na ng bata, no? So by observing, natututo siya. So yan yung latent learning. Doon na lumalabas yung learning niya nung ginamit niya na mismo. So next is the intervening variables. So intervening variables are variables that are not readily seen but serve as determinants of behavior. So Tolman believed that learning is mediated or influenced by expectations, perceptions, representations, needs, and other internal or environmental variables. So for example is in his experiment with rats, he found out that hunger was an intervening variable. So yung intervening variable is ano siya, determinants of behavior. Yun yung parang nag-i-influence sa kanya na gawin yung isang bagay. So like for example no sa rats ay yung hunger. Yung hunger yung naging intervening variable kung bakit siya pumupunta sa goal para makakain. So yun yung determinants behavior niya. Next is the reward expectancy. So we learn to expect or gain something as a result of our efforts. So totoo naman yan, no? Nag-expect talaga tayo palagi na may result yung efforts natin. And next is not getting or less than expected reward may lead to disrupted or behavior involving frustration. So this is true, no, na pag walang reward, parang hindi na tayo nag-e-effort talaga. Parang parang nawawala na tayo ng gana, parang ganun. So next is the organism has selective preference for the principle of least effort for arriving at the goal. So we select the shortest possible route to achieve the goal. So yung principle of least effort is ang mm, parang siniselect natin yung shortest possible route to achieve our goal. So conclusion, Tolman's concluded that reinforcement is not essential for learning. So although it provides an incentive for performance. So sabi ni Tolman, hindi naman daw talaga kailangan yung reinforcement sa sa learning. So although it provides an incentive for performance. So in his studies, he observed that a rat was able to acquire knowledge of the way through to develop a cognitive map, even in the absence. So Tolman's belief individual do more than merely respond to stimuli. So sabi ni Tolman na doon sa ano niya sa experiment niya sa mga rat na nag-acquire naman ng knowledge yung isang tao, yung isang individual kahit na walang reinforcement. Bale, ano na siya, nagpa-process na ng information. So reinforcement was not necessary learning to occur. So cognitive map is an internal representation of external environment features or landmarks. So he felt behavior is mainly cognitive. So he coined the term cognitive map. Okay, so in application naman, so in application sa teaching natin, no? So since Tolman's purposive behaviorism is about acquiring meaningful behavior, so we teacher, we have to administer a teaching application that will affect the learner's self-efficacy and goals. So self-efficacy means yung parang um, um, bumibilib tayo no sa mga ability ng bawat learners natin na hayaan sila gawin yung mga task or mga obligation na i-encourage natin sila na kaya nila. Then incorporating information that is more likely to result in an action that benefits their goals and purpose in learning. So giving assistance and encouragement will make the learner establish a clear goal that will motivate. So, yun na nga, bibigyan sila natin sila ng assistant and encouragement para yung learner ay makamit nila yung gusto nilang goal, no, na mag-motivate sa kanilang learning. So, that's all. Thank you.
Ano yung last report natin for this day? I mean, ito na ba yung last report the whole second sem? I mean, per sem? Finals?
Ako pa,
Yes, ma'am. Sila na po. Last.
Oh, ito yung last. Okay. I-stop present na lang po muna, ma'am. Sino po yun to? Yung sa second to the last. Hello? Ma'am Villanueva?
Bilyasor po, ako po yung last, ma'am.
Sorry. Ayun, Ma'am Villasor. Okay na, ma'am. Mag-present na, ma'am. Bandura Observational Learning. Sige, ma'am. Start na po.
Good evening, everyone. So my report is Bandora Observational Learning. So before we start the observational learning, let's first know the author of observational learning. Albert Bandura was born in December 4, 1925. He was born in Northern Alberta, Canada. In 1949, he graduated from the University of British Columbia with a degree in psychology. In 1952, received his philosophy doctors in clinical psychology
from the University of Iowa. In 1974, Bandora was elected the president of the American Psychological Association. In 1977, Bandora became known as the father of the cognitive theory. In 2004, outstanding lifetime contribution to psychology and American Psychological Association. Next, ma'am. Albert Bandura was one of the first psychologists to recognize the phenomenon of observational learning. His theory, social learning theory, stressed the importance of observation and modeling of behaviors, attitudes, emotional reaction of others. So, si Albert Bandura yung kauna-unahang psychologist na nirecognize na nagkaroon ng interest na pag-aralan kung ano ba yung observational learning. Nakagawa na siya ng first theory niya which is social learning theory at doon parang ina-highlight niya kung ano yung ba yung importance ng observation, tas yung nagmo-modeling ng behavior, ano yung effects ng attitudes and emotional reactions of others. Paano ba yun nagiging epekto sa observational learning. So ano ba yung tinatawag na observational learning? Excuse me. Is the process of learning by watching the behavior of others. So, minsan na-experience natin to sa atin, di ba? Kapag obserbahan lang natin or tingnan lang natin yung isang bagay kung curious talaga tayo, interesado tayo, di ba natututo tayo? Pwede sa pakikinig or tingnan lang natin. Second, the targeted behavior is watch, memorize, and then mimic. So yun na nga, titingnan natin, then syempre imamaster natin yun, i-memorize natin kung ano ba yung step, paano ba yun. Halimbawa na lang sa dance, syempre, panunuorin. Second, observe natin, i-memorize natin kung anong mga step. Then, mimic. Ibig sabihin, gagawa tayo ng galaw, action. Then, also known as shaping and modeling, observational learning is most common in children as they imitate behaviors of adults. So it's very common naman, 'di ba? Usually kasi kapag bata, especially yung toddlers, 'di ba kung anong sinasabi natin, i-imitate ng bata. Parang kaya nga kapag ganyan ang bata, huwag kang magpaparinig ng mga bad words or any negative words that will affect on his behavior. Kaya dapat ano ba yan? Yung dapat careful tayo the way we talk, the way we act in front of our children. And second, next slide, ma'am. Okay. So in this slide, makikita niyo yung mga iba't ibang larawan. Unang larawan, yung batang lalaki pati yung tatay niya, di ba ginagaya siya, then itong baby na then dance, taekwondo, using phone, and nagtutoothbrush. So observational learning, social learning is learning a new behavior by watching a model perform that behavior. So these are the examples na pwede nating tingnan at talagang gagayahin ng mga bata kung hindi tayo careful sa kung anong pinapakita natin. So people learn through an observation. Reinforcement and punishment have an indirect effect on behavior and learning. So syempre, ito yung big effect niya sa behavior, attitude natin, and sa kung ano yung nalo-learn ng bata. So cognitive factors contribute to whether a behavior is acquired, means relating to the mental process involved in knowing, learning, and understanding things. So, yung pag-i-imitate or yung observational learning nangyayari sa mga bata kapag yung nakikita nila tatay nila, syempre para sa kanila is a role model nila yung parents nila. So, if they observe some actions that yung pumupukaw sa interest nila, so particularly, maiinggayo yung bata na gayahin kung anong nakikita at naririnig nila sa environment nila. So, yun yung isa sa mga sample na magiging effect sa mga kabataan. Next slide tayo, ma'am. And according to Bandora's research, there are four processes that influence observational learning. Una, attention. To learn, an observer must pay attention to something in the environment. They must notice the model and behavior occurring. So yan na nga yung sinabi ko kanina, napumupo ka ng interest, attention. They will give attention to that particular things kung saan sila interesado. Second, retention. Ano ba tong retention? Simple attention is not enough to learn a new behavior. An observer must also retain or remember the behavior at a later time. So, pag alimbawa na nakita niya, so inobserbahan niya, syempre i-recall niya yon. Ang gagawin niya, i-memorize, ano ba yun? Sorry ha. Ang gagawin niya is i-remember niya kung ano yung nakita niya. Then, the third is reproduction. Reproduction is the process where the observer must be able to physically perform the behavior in the real world. So, ayun na. Nakita niya, inobserbahan niya, na minemorado niya. Sorry ha, kung ano ako. Tausog kasi. Reproduction. Pagdating sa reproduction, yung gagawin niya is make practice. Di ba may kasabihan nga, make practice para ma-perfect natin yung isang dance or what kasi makes ano ba yung kasabihan? I forgot, sorry. Kinakabahan ako. So basta yun, by keep on practicing sa kung ano yung gusto niyang mangyari na ma-improve sa kanya, maybe later on, at least makuha niya yung mga moves na gusto niyang makabisado. And lastly is the motivation. So all learning requires some degree of personal motivation. For observational learning, the observer must be motivated to produce the desired behavior. So yun na nga. Kasi kung hindi tayo interesado, hindi tayo fully motivated, hindi natin gusto, hindi pumukaw ng attention natin particular, we don't have an energy to parang gayahin siya, wala tayong energy na i-memorize o kabisaduhin yung kung ano yung ginagawa ng kasamahan natin. Yun. So, magbibigay pa ako ng another example. For example, sa klase, you want to become a valedictorian. O di kaya sabihin na lang natin, in other words, you want to get a high grades. So, it makes sense that you'd observe the current valedictorian. So, obserbahan mo yung honor student sa klase. From behavior, how he interact in the class, how he or she behave in class, and how he perform well in class. Yun yung attention na i-observe mo. Second is retention. Let's say the current valedictorian is giving a report presentation. You notice that they are calm, confident, engaging, and use eye contact. You make these attributes and remember them for the next you give a presentation. So, sinulat mo lahat yung mga naobserbahan mo. At least, aware ka na ito pala yung dapat natataglayin kong mga skills para sa pagre-report ko next time. So, sa reproduction, dun pa rin tayo sa sample ni valedictorian. You've observed and identified 4 skills that the current valedictorian uses during the presentation. To be able to perform these skills yourself, you need to deliberate practice these skills. So yun na. Dito sa reproduction, ipapractice mo siya para at least makuha mo kung ano yung ini-aim mo. Then lastly is a motivation. The motivation is intrinsic. You understand the fact to get a good grade in presentation and what skills you should have. So, yun na, alam mo na kung paano gawin, na-practice mo na siya, nakabisa mo na siya. At least, in a few more practice to make it perfect para maganda, at least bongga yung presentation mo pag another reporters ka na. So, at least, aware ka kung ano yung dapat mong taglaying skills basing sa nakita mong model mo, which is yung valedictorian, because you want to get a high grade. So, yun po yung observational learning. Thank you. May question po. Hello everyone.
Hello po. Hello.
Okay na po, ma'am.
Ito na yung last report.
Ata, ma'am. Bilyasur, ma'am.
Si Bilyasor. Okay, ma'am. Ganito na lang. I-open cam lahat, please. Open cam para may attendance tayo ngayon. Kasi pa-ed na rin ng 2 minutes. And afterward, pag-usapan natin kung may party tayo. Hindi kahit sandali lang yun. Anyway, picture muna tayo. Okay? Open cam. Ilan ba tayo? 38, 37. So, open. Sige. Classmate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait lang ha. Kulang pa isa pa. 1, 2. Wait. Wait. Alis. Yun. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Stop ang record.